All right, what's up, everybody? Good evening. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm good. I just started, but I'll put it on mute. All right, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that. I'm on hold. Obviously, we've had a little server issue on mobile devices. Okay, it seems like the website's fine on PCs and some mobile devices, but if you're having a problem with the site, it seems to be working fine on Wi-Fi. I don't know what the heck's going on with cellular, so been on the phone all day. So it's been a nightmare. Um, should be back any minute, but we do have it on PC on the website. So we're gonna do a quickie. We call these what do we call these, Shelly? I don't even have the chat up on these things. Quickie Dirty 30s is what we call these, okay? All the latest and greatest. We'll be live in the morning for a very long, extended brew at 9:19 Eastern. We do it every day, 9:19 Eastern. But we do these little Dirty 30s to get you caught up on the night for what. There we go. Man, two strikes. Welcome to the Dirty 30. Man, that's because we haven't had a lot of this. This is what happens. The tropics are slow, right? We're not used to doing this at night because it's been a quiet tropical season. Um, we usually do these little quickies at the end of the day to get you caught up on the latest models. We'll definitely be live in the morning, 9:19 Eastern. Okay, every day, 9:19 Eastern. We'll be live tomorrow, Friday. We're going to be doing another Dirty 30 tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We'll be doing one on Saturday morning, probably 9:19 a.m. on Saturday, and probably Saturday sometime in the afternoon. So keep it right there. I'm on the phone with my web server. We got like something happened today. Knock on wood, we've never had any problems over the years. So they're working on it 24/7. The website works on PC Wi-Fi. You connect your phone to Wi-Fi, it should work. Never heard of such a thing. So cellular, it doesn't look like it's working. So they're reverting everything. They got technicians working on it. And I'm not like going through AOL, trust me. I spent a lot of money for a server. But anyway, we're hoping it's fixed. They're on the phone with me right now. I've been on the phone with them for like 6 hours. So we're going to go over everything, okay? No questions. I don't see comments right now, so I'm not being rude. I just want to go over the latest. We're going to talk about Invest 94. And it's definitely worth talking about, okay? We saw a significant shift of the models this morning. There's still a chance this thing won't come all the way to the coast, but when you look at spaghetti models and you look at trends, it's definitely something the Carolinas want to pay close attention to. Georgia, even North Florida had a couple of them going that direction. So Bahamas first, they're going to start feeling it tomorrow. Our system is exited. In fact, I want to show you all this since I already have this up. This is water vapor loop. Big old ball of moisture here across Hispaniola, and right to the northeast is um, Umberto. A little brain fart there. Umberto. So big moisture field, and it has cleared Hispaniola, and now the center's over water. So we're going to be watching this thing close here the next day as it heads generally northwest. Not a clear low-level circulation, but we're definitely getting a little bit of a bump. You can see where technically it's probably going to try to start rotating once these winds on the backside start wrapping around. So clear, you know, kind of clear where we're going to see. Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, I'm still here. Okay. So there you go. So not a clear low level circulation yet, but it has exited those high elevation mountains of Hispaniola. There's some on Cuba too, so it's not going to have the most ideal setup, okay? But what they're not worried about, but once it clears Cuba and Hispaniola, then we got a lot of open space there, and those waters are very warm in that Caribbean. There's not a lot of dust. Most of the models are showing this intensify, okay? And some are showing hurricane, okay, as it skirts by Florida early week. Just to go over the other two storms, we got Tropical Storm Umberto. It's going to probably pass west of Bermuda. I know we got folks watching in Bermuda. Good news there. It could be a major hurricane, but it looks like it's going to split the gap. Good news there. Believe it or not, we got Gabrielle. We're going to show you is affecting the Azores right now, but this goes back to spaghetti models for Umberto. Looking pretty good. So there's your Azores. Very rare to get a hurricane in the Azores, Portugal. So there you go. They're going to have pretty rough conditions here this weekend in Spain and Portugal because of Gabrielle, who went around the whole world to go back right where it all began. That's crazy. All right, well, here's the bubbling going on tonight. This is our convection. So one thing that's been solid with this system is it's been expanding the moisture field, and we've been seeing a lot of convection, okay? We've got almost some of it's trying to rotate through that gap that we see a lot of storms come through there. The Monage Passage or something like that. I think we haven't talked about it in years, but Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic there. So that's kind of wrapping up there. So we're going to keep an eye on that moisture. It's got a lot of moisture. Again, this whole ball is going to escape the mountains, and it's going to be interesting to watch. We know how systems can really intensify once they develop a low-level circulation. So I'm telling you, like the old hawk told us, we'll be watching this like a hawk the next couple of days. All right, I'm not hyping anything. I'm just saying we just know systems in that Caribbean. That water is extremely warm currently, so it'll be an interesting couple of days as this thing sits across the Bahamas and goes northward. This is a development cone area. This is where they believe that the system can organize, and you notice it's getting a little tighter and it's getting a little bit more north. Confidence is kind of brewing that direction. It's 90%, so at any moment they could determine this thing is a tropical depression. Probably going to get these things called a potential tropical a potential tropical cyclone maybe tomorrow, and this is when they can start issuing that cone and potential warnings and watches. Okay, so it might really happen tomorrow, and that really is when things get real, is when we start seeing the cone. And again, Carolinas, Georgia, heavy rain, and I'm going to go over all that for you. So with the latest, here's a water vapor loop. Just wanted to show you there's not a lot of dry air out there currently. Dry air is one big deterrent, and I guess I was just a little surprised at how large the moisture field is. So that's, definitely when it emerges, we're going to see how much bubbling we get over the lower part of the Bahamas here. Here's a cool site showing you the positions as it's tracked. As I mentioned, it's right there over water. This is a old school velocity map or vorticity map that shows spin, and you can see the 850 right smack dab over the island there, and then 500 actually has a little bit of vorticity here on the backside. So that's kind of where this is all going to wrap up. So it's coming together. Another cool site I share a lot. This one gives you a position where it's at. I like to look at the dry air map right here. We got a little bit of dry air to the north. That could maybe wrap into it a little bit. Like I said, the water temperature it's hot, hotter than Aaron, hotter than Gabrielle. Ocean heat content, extremely warm in this area right here. That's why we're going to have to watch it close tomorrow, because we've seen storms in the past, overachieve when it comes to intensity. All right, so latest spaghetti models. We might have new ones. Let's do a drum roll. Let's see. 00Z might be out. Let's take a look. Nah, not yet. But yes, ma'am. Okay, I got you. Okay, thanks. This was a big shift. Okay, this morning, boom, and then 18Z, we started seeing some do that. All right, we are still getting influence from the other system, Humberto. We're getting a high pressure build in. We're getting that stall look where a system kind of turns in and doesn't really have anywhere to go. The Euro is showing some pretty aggressive rainfall totals, and that is going to be something to watch too, is if this thing slows down by the coast because of that blocking high. We went into that all this morning, the blocking high pressure, what's going on with the high between Umberto and future Imelda. It's going to be an I storm, Imelda. So there you go. So we're going to see what the 00Z models come out. And yes, there's the H wharf really close to Jacksonville. So, that's not forecast, but when we see that first cone, I think we're going to see how close that cone actually is to a lot of folks along the eastern seaboard there. There's some models that actually stop it and then turn. So we still don't have 100% confidence, but what we're seeing a lot more today than we saw yesterday is that flow. Okay, yesterday there was a lot of support that this thing might stop and follow Humberto. Humberto is slowing down, allowing this to have high pressure come in and push it off to the possibly to the west. That's what's happening. But as I always say, every day closer, this kind of stuff starts to make sense. And we're not talking about a system 10 days from now. We're talking about something could be making landfall Monday, Tuesday. Okay, you might start getting rain bands on Monday. Here's the latest intensity map. Luckily, we're not seeing anything too bad as far as intensity goes. We see some hurricanes, yes. So we'll keep an eye on this. Intensity models are tricky. They'll go up and down, but the general takeaway is that most every one shows some sort of strengthening, and that's where we watch things in real time. I can't tell you how many systems that we watched over the years supposed to only be this, but they ended up that a lot of times. Okay, so that's kind of what I've always stress is let's not get wrapped up in these intensity, especially when you're looking at GFS Euro operational runs. Their intensity is never close to what our hurricane specific models are, and the tracks are really good. Euro's tracks are great, but as far as intensity, never on point. It's always way off. I don't know what it sees different, but I'm going to show you the latest intensity models, and then we'll go from there. So this is a cool map from Tomerberg. It is a blend of models, which is pretty neat. It takes all the GFS, UK, Euro, and CMC. So it's got probably, I don't know, 150 ensembles in there, and it puts them all together. You remember statistics, right? And it blends the average of the ensembles. I mean, that is a super blend. So if you were to kind of get a guesstimate of what's going on, there you go. Blue is extreme outliers, but that kind of gives you that same motion that we've been seeing a lot with the models. So here are your individual Euro 5-day. Just wanted to do the 5-day because the other one was kind of hard. Or this is GFS. The GFS ensembles yesterday, almost every single one of them had it curving out to sea. So the point of this is that, this northern trend that we're seeing, but we're also seeing a lot of them stopping and turning. So I can't stress enough that a landfall is not 100%. There are some, keep it slow, then it turns and reacts. So that scenario is still there. It's just we're seeing a lot more not do that. Let's see what else I got. Okay, I just showed you that one. Here are your Euro blend, and again, it's kind of a bunch of mess, but it's this showing you the possibility this thing could stop and turn. But I like to show everything. There you go. So if anything, you just kind of got an idea if it's going to go somewhere, where it's going to go. And if, Carolinas obviously would be the ones watching the most. Bahamas because it's going to be developing. Coastal skirt for Florida depends how close it gets. But once it gets close to that Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even if this thing stops, okay, the Euro AI has it stop, and then it goes. Then it could be a rain event. All right, so that's just what we're looking at, the flow. I know that's really mumble jumble there. That probably wasn't a good one to show, but I did anyways. But here's the actual weather nerds. Let's look at them one by one. And then this might make more sense. But as it comes up, these kind of show you the faster members moving fast are the ones likely to keep on going north. And this could be Monday morning. Oh. Okay. So Monday morning, we have the basic ensemble spread nearing that coast. We got the ones that are going a little bit slower, taking its time. This is Monday morning. And there you go. So could be, Monday when we could, if those faster ones start to come up, we can start to see rain as early as Sunday night. But these are Monday. And you can't ignore the ones that are actually going weaker west. I mean, and then they start to organize. So we'll just kind of leave that there. But anytime you see, a few outliers continue to go a little bit to the west, you kind of just keep that in the back of your mind. But haven't really seen any operational models do that yet. But that's the latest 12Z. 18Z might be out now too, but there's your general flow, boom, there you go. And like I said, we got a few down there in the bottom that are interesting, but I'm not, that's definitely just keeping the back of your mind. But some of the AI models were doing the same thing. All right, let's look at the latest GFS ensembles here. These are on Weather Nerds. These are your 12Z. Do we have 18Z out yet? Maybe we do. 18Z. 18Z. All right, here's your 18Z. There you go. Monday morning. So your faster ones could be there as early as Monday morning. And there's quite a few going up that direction too. So there you go on that. Let's look at the Google. These are your FNV, more tropical cyclone specific. I think these might do better once we have a system, but hard turn and then they start to go down and some of them loop around. When you have no steering currents, when you have a high pressure to the north, which appears we're going to, then these things run in there, they stop, they really don't have anywhere to go. But that's what the Google's showing. And the general ensembles from the Google AI here are doing the same thing. A lot of them stop, come back, but then a couple go in. So you get, there you go. Strength, let's look at the higher resolution models for strength. A couple other models here. Somebody sent me, man, if you're listening, buddy, I got your email. I'm sorry, I forgot to email you back. But this is the Eagle, NOAA Eagle. I don't even know if I've ever used it or not, but whatever. The Eagle's saying no way it's going to hit. So if you don't want any action in the coastline, root for the NOAA Eagle. And then there's your Google AI. Basically, it only has 3 runs on there. I don't even know what and this is the FN3, so I just put it up there. 1 in the Georgia, South Carolina line and 2 going off, so whatever. There's another one. All right, enough models. One more I want to do is the AI. AI showing you the Euro AI, and there you go. So, everything is pretty much kind of got an idea. It's not a guarantee, but you got a pretty good idea of the flow that we're seeing north, actually kind of west a little bit. So, I like this model here. This is your TVCN line. This is your last 6 cycles, and usually this is close to what the National Hurricane Center uses for their line, the dark blue. And you can see it started out a little bit more with a little bit of turning, and the last couple has been straight up and kind of stalling a little bit. So we'll keep it on this TVC line. If we don't have an NHC cone, the TVCN line is a good one to look at because it's kind of what the cone usually is close to as far as center. So that's that. Let's see what else we got. So I want to look at intensity models here on Tropical Tidbits. These are good representation of possibilities. Over the years, these have been really good. And when you have all 4 agreeing, then there's a good likelihood. So when this thing exits tomorrow, it's over the Bahamas. 1004, it's in the early stages, some wind pockets, some storm. This is Saturday night. Then it gets into 996 as the Bahamas. So yes, on Sunday morning, A lot of folks in Bahamas are asking me. It's going to be a developing tropical low pressure. It might be organized Sunday morning. But we're going to watch what it does. I haven't seen this as the 18Z. So 87, 86, 82, 81, 70. There you go. So 977. That's a pretty decent little hurricane. Not one to just say, oh, it's only that. I mean, that could be, one, maybe two. Everybody remembers my barrel story. So that's pretty. This is 10-meter winds. All right, so this is pretty good little wind field too. And it's kind of opening up a little bit because we're going to have some dry air wrapping around the backside. We talked about that this morning. And H-Warf's usually pretty aggressive. So let's see what the other ones are doing. All right. I'm getting updates on the website. So, all right. So let's take a look at the Haas A, and I think the Haas B has been performing a little bit better the last couple storms. Development 1001.93. Here's Florida right there, sneaking in the picture. None of these really strong bands are making it over. 986, 988, 988. So that'd be Cat 1-ish maybe. But there's middle of South Carolina there, and this timing would be later Monday when we start to see outer bands. If you were to get an eye, it'd be Monday night. And the H-Wharf timing, outer bands starting midday Monday and late Monday night, maybe sundown. These are just 4 runs, but they're usually pretty good indicators of things. All right, so here's your Haas B, 985, 86. 980 range, almost the same. There you go, same time frame. There's Monday night. So we're seeing consistency. We're not seeing anything super major hurricane status, but we are seeing potential hurricane, and we know from Barrel a strengthening system 991. So we got it's going to be one of them sneaky on approach systems. All right, but that's the latest. I think it makes a lot of sense. We have good trending here. I mean, on the tracks have been pretty tight on that. This is the H-Wharf tracks. Here's your Haas tracks. That's been a little more off to the extreme side, but we'll see what the latest one does. They don't have the 18Z. We just saw the 18Z, so it did not do that. So that kind of came back. So that's definitely an outlier. I don't think the UK has had very well. There's a UK running now. UK is showing a little more west towards Bahamas. H-Mon showing consistency. The Euro doesn't run on this kind of stuff. Canadian's definitely the outlier. Could be legit though. And there's your consensus model. So, the GFS right here. So here's your big swing on the GFS. It was that way. Then the last 2 runs, it's been right up there towards South Carolina. In fact, we can look at the latest couple runs here. Latest Euro 986. There's your North Carolina, South Carolina border. Midday Monday, we start to get bands. Maybe late overnight possible landfall. Nothing, under 980 on that run. The latest GFS has been showing the same, 989. So one thing the system won't have is a lot. What it does tomorrow. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to consolidate into some sort of a center. Okay. It's just not going to pop into a major hurricane in 2 days unless it has a center, and it doesn't right now. So it'll take a day probably to develop some sort of a center. And the National Hurricane Center is saying tomorrow night we could see a tropical depression, which makes sense. Tonight to tomorrow's 24 hours. So, oh man. So Shelly will tell. I mean, to me, there's a generalization of who should be watching at this point, and outliers, yes, but nothing that's really out of the norm right now. I mean, we're seeing a good possibility that it could stop, and then and let me show you what that looks like. And we do have hurricane hunters out there, by the way. They're doing a lot of missions in progress. They have two planes out there right now, so they're getting all kinds of data. The overnight 000 runs will be very important because they're going to have a whole day full of model information. All right, see, even the Euro AI has been all over the damn place. It's had such a rocky year, but it develops it into 979, but then it stops it, and then it follows, and then it comes back. This is where that rain could be a problem. The run before the Euro AI, I think, was out to sea. So then it kind of comes back. So the biggest thing is we got a lack of steering, it looks like. And let me show you these rain totals. These are going to be something we're going to want to monitor. Okay, thanks. All right, so the rain is the tricky thing. This is, earlier today when we were doing our morning live, it didn't show any of these numbers, and now all of a sudden it is. And that's, what I've learned too is once the system established itself, it's going to be pulling energy down from a low that is left over. And these are some pretty big totals. This is, through the week, because kind of lingering a little bit. I know nobody wants to see that. Hopefully, it's an outlier, but we do have a lot of people. Anybody in purple there, it's showing 10 inches. And this is through Wednesday right here. 14 inches showing up somewhere, 17 somewhere. So, this is the one side of a storm. Yes? Sorry, I was on tech support. All right, so here's the GFS through the week, and you can see because GFS is thinking a little bit farther south, we're seeing pockets of a couple different areas. And if you know me, we talk about these pockets. Okay, when you look at widespread rainfall maps, it's usually a blended look. You don't see these little isolated areas, and so you look at models like this, and you start to see the rain training possibilities of system sits and stops. Somebody's going to get a little bit more than somebody down the road. So this is what you look at. Like I said, purple's 10 inches. I don't know why it's picking it up there. 12Z more into South Carolina. So we'll definitely pay attention to this a little bit more tomorrow. But definitely, it gets overlooked a lot, the rainfall potentials. And one run of the Euro isn't a forecast, but it is trending that direction. And I want to take a look here. Let's take a look at the 18Z real quick. because 18Z Euro just came out, and I want to see what it looks like, and then we'll see if the 00Z models came out, and then we'll call it a night. And we'll do a full long one tomorrow. I'll read comments. I promise I have the comments turned off for me tonight. Hopefully it's just about information. Hopefully. And let's go to the southeast here. And go to the latest pressure. And same old thing. North Carolina, South Carolina, 988 pressure. So we got a lot of confidence. I mean, you start to have to believe. Now look what happens though. It stops, and this is the rain that we got to worry about because it ain't moving. You don't want a stalling system with moisture pulling from an upper level low that's been left behind, whole frontal boundary. So that's been pretty consistent on the last several runs of the Euro. 988's a hurricane. Cat 1 maybe. Hard to tell. Those winds, you measure winds. But here's the last runs of the Euro. Look at that. Almost every time on the Carolinas border there. So timing the same. Let's take a look at timing. Start to get effects midday Monday. Landfall later Monday night and overnight Tuesday. But let's take a look at the rainfall in the latest 18Z. And there you go. Not as much. Yeah. 30th? Oh, yeah, next week. 30th. Yeah, there's a lot, actually. Yeah, so we got the purple again. So that's what we're going to have to worry about. I'm hoping not, but we definitely got to worry about double-digit rains in the mountains again. Hopefully we won't see the totals we did last year at this time, but that is a trend that I'm seeing a lot lately with this thing going up there and stopping like it's doing. So there you go. That's enough for one night. Okay. But we'll be live tomorrow, 9:19 Eastern, TikTok, X, YouTube, Facebook. Hope you got some decent information out of it. We're working on the website. It should be back. It's okay on the PC. Technology. First time ever. But it should be back by the morning. We got plenty of time to digest everything. This thing's just getting off Hispaniola now. So really there's nothing final enough to start boarding up any windows or anything. But definitely going to be wanting to watch this extra close because we're okay. So all right, well, so it'll be really important tomorrow. I'll be scanning models first thing, and really be anxious to see. Oh, we want to see the 00Z spaghetti models. Getting tighter. That's pretty damn tight to me. I mean, and those sharp bends, and you look at timestamps. Look at these timestamps. These are timestamps, and they're not really moving much. So this might be a twofold system here. There's going to be impacts on the coast, obviously, and then we might have inland effects if this thing does linger. But that's a pretty tight spread. Confidence is increasing. Right? So, all right. We'll see everybody in the morning. All right. I'll be posting the heck out of things. As always, thanks for watching our little Dirty 30. So tomorrow we'll be live at 9:19 Eastern in the morning. We'll be live at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Same place. Hopefully not with an earpiece in my ear. And then we'll be live Saturday morning, likely 9:19, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll do a live on Sunday sometime. And probably Sunday. So I'm here for y'all. The show is Shelly. Shelly never misses a live, so thank you, Shelly. It's all about the information, and hopefully